see the way they hate. And I know better than to listen to the people who are calling us slaves. I can feel the sunlight shining.
Well, good morning, everyone. My name's Brian, and today is Monday, May 27th, 2024, and this is episode 706 of the Lots Project Podcast. And Lots Project Podcast, it's titled Laying a Good Foundation. I'll be chatting about the decisions about our cabin site, comfrey sales details, and weekend update, and more. First, let's check out in the live chat, see who's hanging out in the coffee crew, grab a cup and chat for about an hour. Wow, man, screen started bouncing and I just started laughing for some reason. I couldn't stop doing that, so that was nice. Good morning. How's everybody doing? Hopefully everybody's doing well on this Memorial Day. If you gotta work, you gotta work, right? If you got the day off, hope you do something fun. Looks like Rewild Their Life, Rachel's got to go into work at some point today. Jim, good morning, Jim. I don't know if Jim works at all. I don't know if they let people that old work or what he's got going on. Thanks for stopping in, Jim, over on YouTube. And let me pull up the Noster feed, make sure it went live. Good morning, Jim, over on Noster. Thanks for stopping in over there, too. Appreciate it greatly. What am I going to talk about today? A lot about what went on this weekend out at the property, progress we've made, decisions we've made, things going on like that. Got a big comfrey sale going on. I don't know if I set that up prior to Friday's show or not. Friday was a long time ago, and I don't know if I mentioned it, so I want to mention that. It's a big sale going on now through June 30th, and it's a solid deal. Came up with it and rolling with it for sure. And then something from Friday laundry day. I made a realization and it was an interesting experience at Kroger. I'll have to let you know about that. Rewild Life says, I have a thorn stuck in my thumb from yesterday. Yeah. I have one pair of leather gloves that has a thorn stuck in the finger, and I can never remember which one it is, and it'll come and go. So it's stuck through enough that depending on what I grab, it'll jam me in the side of the finger. And then it won't for a long time. And then all of a sudden in that same spot, it'll jam me in the side of the finger. So I don't know. I gotta take that glove the next time it happens. Well, usually it'll happen in the middle of doing something. And then by the time I'm done doing it, it doesn't hurt anymore. So I stop. And yeah. Pickle Pete says could not get up this morning. I'm a little bit tired myself too. We had some weather roll through last night. It was about like 2:00, I think, 2 a.m. And it rained significantly. I don't know if we necessarily had as bad a weather as things could have been, I guess. I don't know. I didn't go outside. Corey said she didn't think it was as bad as it has been for sure here. But heavy downpours, a little bit of rain, couple of minutes of pretty heavy downpours. It sounded like there might have been some hail. I'm not sure that or really big raindrops. The wind wasn't as horrible as it could have been because I didn't really feel the camper rocking. So I don't think that was I don't think the winds were horrible, but it could have been just the direction the wind was coming from. Everything looks good outside this morning when we got up. First glance, you didn't see anything on your walk, did you, that was damaged, Corey? No. She didn't see any damage, so. Rewild Life says 11 tornadoes on the ground at once last night. Yeah, it's been a weird year for sure. Corey woke me up when the storm was going. She's like, hey, just so you know, we're in a tornado warning. warning, right? Watches before, and then a warning's more severe. She's like, yeah, we're in a tornado warning. And I was like, well, what should we do about that? And she goes, well, I don't know. There isn't much we can do about it. But if just wanted to let you know in case things started getting rocky. Hey, Clyde. Thank you. So yeah, that was pretty rough in the middle of the night, and lay there and listened to the rain and whatnot going on for, I don't know, probably 15 minutes, and then it died off and I fell right back to sleep. So I don't know what we would have done. It's one of those things, like, at the moment we think about it quite often, like what we should do, what we can do. Jim says, I think you need a Wafati. Yeah, there's definitely going to be some mannerism of getting shelter at the cabin site at some point. Probably pretty early on, if especially if Corey has something to do with that decision. So yeah, it is. It kind of is what it is. It is what it is. Rewilder Life says she needs a Wafati for plants. Yeah, so she can grow for more than like 3 months of the year, for sure, for sure. So it didn't sound like there was too. I was scouting around. It didn't sound like there was too much going on around here as far as severe weather yesterday. Rewilder Life says no windy, twisty death triangles here. Yeah. It's a weird thing. It's a weird thing. We had tornadoes in Minnesota, but nothing like the frequency and severity is here, as I recall, and very few that we always had the potential for them, and a lot of times up in our area that they didn't really come to fruition. If they did, they were in farmers' fields and popped right back up and stuff like that. So not ever really a ton of damage. Not every once in a while. Like the closest tornado that we really had to us was the Wadena one, right? And the whole time we were at the farm. So that was good 7 years. Yeah. I mean, so it's hit and miss. It's nothing like here. Nothing like here for sure. Yeah, southern Minnesota down in the flats where it's windy all the time. Even when it's not windy, it's windy. Chris Dixon says spinning weather is no bueno. Good morning, Chris Dixon. Thanks for stopping. Good morning, Hunter. Thanks for popping in over on Twitch. Appreciate that. Jim says seems like every thunderstorm is potential tornado here. I've been noticing that. And not just the potential, like they're dropping. They're not. I was swaying to the side of everything's being blown out of proportion. And I think a lot of things are being hyped up. I think the pre-warnings for these weather systems is getting a little ridiculous. We talked about that the one day with the colors on the pre-warning maps. But it seems like, yeah, like Jim says, every thunderstorm that goes through is either severe, super severe, where you're getting hail and damaging winds and severe lightning, or it's dropping tornadoes. And it is dropping tornadoes, not just a threat of dropping tornadoes. So I don't know. We got through again. We got through another night again. So hopefully, like I mentioned, I don't know if it was in the Telegram chat or on the show or both, but we talked about talked about it here or in the Telegram group or where, about the tornado line in Tennessee shifting east. It appears, from what I can see, where they're dropping in Tennessee all year seems to be where people said that they didn't drop before. It seemed like the tornadoes dropped right on the Tennessee River where we're at. There was definitely a time period a while ago, 10 years ago, 10 to 15 years ago, where they were just that decimated this town for a couple years. And it seems like they've kind of shifted a little farther east now. Knock on wood that is true, or it's just a anomaly that I'm noticing. And but I don't want to. I wouldn't be upset if they've moved east. The drop zone. A strange year indeed, Rachel. It has definitely been a strange year. Jim says I saw jeez. I saw Chris's bare feet on Noster. I saw Chris's bare feet all over the internet. You getting paid for those pictures, Chris? Congratulations, by the way, for possibly making a decision. That's a quality feeling for sure. And I love Chris posted in on socials that he was looking for property, and he went out and stood barefoot on the one that felt right, and it felt even more right. So right on, man, right on. That's a solid decision making system, as long as you don't have fire ants and creepy crawlies that can kill you. Rewilder Life says we've had way more very strong winds. Yeah. Hunter says global warming. Hunter, are you thinking that there's manipulation going on with the weather to push the global warming narrative to end around that? Like, these people aren't believing it. It's not getting warmer. It's not getting bad. It's not getting worse. We should wrap up the storms. Man, if we got tornadoes just blasting everywhere, maybe. I don't know. Pickle Pete says, sold my first Airbnb hot breakfast, $20, 3 eggs, 2 sausage, and a bagel with French press of fresh roasted brew. That sounds fantastic, really. For $20. So you run with the large French press, so like the 72 ounce, I believe, or something large, or something bigger, right? Than mine. I have that 32 ounce. You have a bigger one. So that's a solid breakfast served to your door. Nice. Pete says he's trying to move into the bed and breakfast mode with the Airbnb. Yeah, if you're getting up early, if you're getting up before your guests, that's not a bad thing. I was excited about the breakfast burritos at SRF, and not really overwhelmed by the breakfast burritos I got at SRF. Pickle Pete says served anytime 6:30 a.m. to 9. Do they then just send you a message and say they're ready for your breakfast? I like it. I always thought that coffee service at hip camps would have been be a really good sell. Easy sell. Yeah. Anyway, let's get to it. So comfrey sale is on. We've had he's got a cutoff order the night before at 10 p.m. Nice. Do they pick a time the night before, or do they send you a message in the morning when they're ready? They say, "Oh, I want it 8:30 tomorrow morning," or can they get up and can they put in the order the night before and then request the time in the morning? Wilder Life says her brain froze, and I think she meant I froze, because then she says she's back. I don't know if I don't know if her brain froze and then I'm back, or I froze and then I came back. Um, okay, cool. Got it. Got it. Okay. Anyway, comfrey sale. Let's start talking comfrey sale. Uh, rolled this out the end of last week. I'm not sure if it was Friday after the show, when it went live. I can't remember. I can't remember which. Rewild Their Life says both her brain and Brian both froze, and now they're both back. That's good. That's good. I'm not sure if it went live. I don't can't remember if I promoted it a little bit, but we're running a big comfrey sale on comfreyroots.com. We decided that we want to spread the word. We want to spread the word about comfrey. We want to help you spread the word and build like-minded community around you. And what a better way to start the conversation about like-minded community than an awesome plant that is pretty much made for the prepper mentality, for the homesteading mentality, for the side hustle mentality. Oh, just, I mean, it's such a bountiful plant. How hard is it? How hard is it that how hard is it to start a conversation when you walk up to somebody and say, hey, take these magic beans and throw them in the ground, and it's going to grow you a plant that you can use a million different ways. Start that conversation. Start that, hey, I got these roots coming in the mail. I can grab them for you. And what we're doing is we're sending 2 packages. So if you order a root cutting package, and that's what we have available on comfreyroots.com. I don't think I have any crowns or whole plants or anything up there. It's just the standard 10 root cuttings. And what we're going to do is when you order it and you use coupon code share the love, that's uppercase, lowercase, doesn't matter. Mix it all up. Share the love is all that's got to be put in. When you put that in at checkout, it doesn't do any discounts. It doesn't do any changes. It just adds the coupon code. But when I see that in the background, we're going to put 2 packages of comfrey roots in your box or in your shipment. 2 completely separate vacuum sealed packages. You can open them both and use them for yourself, or you can use it to start a conversation with somebody. You could buy a package, get 2 in the mail, and hand them to 2 people. Start that conversation. Say, hey, I got this plant coming. I am going to hand you the roots. All you got to do is have a space in your garden or along your fence or wherever, depending on your climate and how you're growing it. But you're going to be able to just grab that package when it comes in the mail, open it up, take theirs, take yours, take however many you're going to give away, and hand them out to people. Start that conversation. Pickle Pete says, yeah, let's support package handoffs at church and daycares and schools and the grocery store and whatever. I mean, I would have it lined up beforehand who you're going to give it to, let them know so they have a idea what's going on. They have a place that they're going to put it. It's not just like thrown in their lap, and by the time they get to it 3 weeks later, the roots have been sitting in a package for 3 weeks. Not good. But if they know it's coming and when you're going to get it and you make the order, I think it's a great way to build like-minded community. And if you already have like-minded community and they're not growing the plant, what a better way to get them started, immerse them in it. Because if you've listened to the show, you know how beneficial it is, both financially, medicinally, for your animal fodder, for your soil health, for your compost. Hunter says, hey, they still came up. Your roots are still coming up? I'm happy about that. Jamie off-grid ping. So back in February, I believe it was February, we sent out a testing for the whole plant sale where we were sending out whole dug plants, and I showed how you break it down. Then I took 1 crown, took it up to Delinquent Scully, got that in the ground, and then the rest we we planted at Jamie's in exchange for all the firewood I got for the winter. And so I helped him plant the crowns. We divided it up into 5 crowns or 6 crowns, I believe. Planted them in one area, and then he took and he planted like 40 or 50 at least root cuttings around the property. The crowns were February, March, April, May, 3 months ish old. He's drying leaves already. You have to be yeah. He's cutting and drying leaves already. So 3 months from a crown. Now that's not going to happen with the root cuttings. I normally suggest giving them a year or a full season, depending on when they get in the ground. But a full growing season out of the roots to let them get established. But crowns, rock and roll. It's basically like established plant. Just as soon as it's rooting, putting up leaves, and it's going to stimulate the plant to cut those leaves off, some dry them, and get some use out of them. So I said, man, knock them down, and let's see what happens. The nice part about Jamie and experimenting with his here is if he needs more, I know where to get it. I know where to get it for sure. Pickle Pete says, hopefully the doofus client doesn't listen, but you gotta be special kind of special to F up comfrey cuttings. Yeah. Oh, I get some interesting people that have ordered the roots. And I not everybody's an experienced grower. And I wasn't when I ordered them. I read before I ordered them, before I got them, and even after I got them, I was reading the instructions that came with them. I went back and reread the instructions after the fact. how to process them, how to get them in the ground, where I should do them, how I should plant them, everything. Excuse me. Not everybody does that, and not everybody's experience. I get a lot of people that are shocked that I'm not mailing them a huge comfrey plant full of leaves and roots and established in a pot or something. That really always blows my mind, since yes, the main picture in the listing is a comfrey plant, big beautiful comfrey plant. But the rest of the pictures are all root cuttings, and the description says root cuttings, and people can't read. So I get some complaints that they didn't get a full plant. They just got these little sticks, and I proceed to tell them, if you put those sticks in the ground, they'll turn into one of those big plants. It's hard to ship a live plant. I'm sorry, but it'll get there. In others, yeah, like Brian said, some people pick them up and they're just like, oh my God, and wash them and all sorts of weird stuff that I'm not sure why you would do with plants, when basically the instructions I say are open them up and put them 1 inch to 2 inch below the surface of the ground, horizontally, excuse me, and they will come up in a few weeks. And everybody wants to know exactly when they should see leaf. I don't know, really. The number of factors that go into how long it will take for your roots to pop up, I can't count. So customer service. And the problem is Etsy nails you so hard for any questionable comment. Somebody is not satisfied right away. Jim says 2 to 8 weeks. I usually say 6 weeks to 3 months. I don't know where you live. I don't know how, like, if you plant them 7 inches deep in the ground, I don't know if they'll ever come up. I don't. Like, I can't tell you what's going to happen after you have them. Pickle Pea says more like 4 to 8 weeks from bare root. Yeah, I would say 4 to 8 weeks. You should see a leaf pop up if you didn't bury them too deep. If you did 1 inch to 2 inches, if you have decent soil, if you have the right amount of moisture, you don't drown them out. You don't keep them in a mud pie, but it doesn't get bone dry. You got to kind of care for them a little bit until they're established. Once they're there, they're a honey badger and won't go away. Chris Dixon says, I'm beginning to hate Etsy as much as I do Amazon and McDonald's. Okay, man, that is a reason why comfreyroots.com exists. Seriously, me and Etsy have been love-hate relationship since the beginning. Jim says, I forgot about Etsy. I can't even remember the last time I looked at Etsy. That was probably when you ordered a rabbit foot keychain and smoked my shipping because I lost your tracking number. You didn't mess it up. I'm not saying you messed it up. I did. So Jim asked up here, let me get it back. Any tips on helping it survive the hot Florida weather? Plant it in fall. Order the best. So my suggestion, and this is what we did with Hunter. Hunter, you ended up having crowns. I sent some crowns out to you, didn't I? Or maybe it was roots, but we planted them really early. The idea is to have them well established before the bad heat, before the super droughts. Hunter says crowns and root. How are they doing? So the crown, I imagine, established really fast. And as long as you can keep it so that it has a little bit of water, it should do fine right through the summer. And we did that. Wasn't that probably February? Was that February we sent those out, I think? So fall, after the heat's gone, Jim, or early spring. Like we've gotten lucky moving to the distribution to the Pacific Northwest for a lot of the roots, and he can grow quite. Hunter says the squirrels. Yeah, squirrels. The plants. Where was I there? Yeah, if you can get them established before the heat. So, Chris Dixon says my bonus is Etsy direct deposits to my ShakePay card, and I earn sats for that. Got a double dip where you can. I hear you there for sure, man. Etsy, did you like when they started doing the offsite ads thing, and they're like, hey, we're not going to charge you unless somebody clicks on your ad and then buys your product. And then I'm like, oh, that sounds great. That's great. They're going to advertise for me, and then they're going to charge me a little bit when somebody uses that ad. I mean, I get it. They're putting the money in up front. And then I got the sales report, and it's 15%. And I don't know if it's going to be charged or not. So I was like, how do I raise my prices 15% to cover the increased cost of these offsite ads? But it's not going to be everyone. It's not going to be every sale. It's only some of them. And I was like, oh, well, you can opt out. So I opted out, and I was like, oh, weird. They were driving sales through the offsite ads. Before this whole program, I had plenty of sales. And then it went to this offsite ads shit, or onsite ads, or whatever the hell they were trying to call it. And I was like, okay, I should at least have the steady sales I had before they started doing this shit. And so I turned it off, and 0. Like they showed it to no one. It would have had to been all direct traffic. But for some reason, it was populating in the searches and things before that, before they went to this new model. So 15%. Hey, we're going to take another 15% from you. Fuck you, dudes. Like, really. I'll take your 15% and I'll put it on Google ads or Facebook ads and run my own website. Chris Dixon says, yeah, that's all they do. It's like, really? Um, Jim says they keep trying, they don't survive. Like, how can you not grow something in Florida? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. We'll have to talk more about that, Jim. It might be the grower and not the plant. Maybe. Anyway, if you want to grab 2 packages, if you want to grab 4 packages, if you want to, Jim says it doesn't like the heat. I have to differ with that opinion for sure. I don't know. It might not like the gym. If you want to get 2 for 1, basically 2 for 1, 2 packages for the price of 1, and them packaged separate, so you can so you can pass it out to your friends, expose them to this awesome plant. Maybe you and your friends have wanted to grow comfrey or have talked about it or been interested in it. Now you can both get a package for the same price as one. comfreyroots.com and discount code share the love, all one word, share the love, and that'll get you a BOGO. Like I said, when you put the coupon code in, it says that it entered the code. It won't change anything. It doesn't change the order number. It doesn't change the price. It doesn't change anything. It just lets us know to send 2 packages of roots. So there you go. That is what we got going on. If you could spread that around to all your like-minded folks, all your permies folks, your gardening friends, anybody that you think could use the plant, that would be wonderful. I appreciate it. And if you're interested in an affiliate account with comfreyroots.com, there is a sign up over there. It's pretty straightforward, and also gives you contact information to get a hold of me if you have any issues. But you can sign up and start making cash off sending people my way. Chris Dixon makes a great point. Great point. Jim says he has it in New York. He has tons in New York. Chris Dixon says maybe the gators are eating it, Jim. There's no gators in New York. Jim, why won't this go away? There we go. Are you in an HOA down there, Jim? Are you in some place populated? Are you in a neighborhood as opposed to New York? I'm curious if you have some sort of chemical leaching or something going on that they're spraying or whatnot that's a little deeper in the ground, possibly. That comfrey sends that taproot straight down, and that's why it's such a honey badger in the heat, in the drought, and when everything else is brown and dead. That's why. I'm wondering if it's getting into something a little deep down and killing it off. If you're planting it at the same property and it keeps dying, curious. Just curious. Never know. It does go deep for sure. Hunter says, has he tried pots yet? I don't know. Jim, have you tried pot yet? That might help your plants. Is your stuff root bound yet, Hunter? I know you put them in pots in the early year. Um, it's been could be different properties. Jim says he's tried the pot and it helps him not care as much about the plants dying. I mean, there is that. Hunter doesn't think his stuff is root bound. You'd be surprised how much those roots grow, bud. Anyway, let's move on. Oh, that's right. You put them in totes. It should be good for a while. I think once you get that that plant established through this year, Hunter, you'll be able to transplant that solid big plant into the ground and be good. But if you want to roll with totes, it'll be a good propagation model, dumping it out of the tote and trimming it back to the crown and rolling in that tote. Not a bad idea. Throw some more compost in it every time you swap it out and trim it up. We were looking at that model with Nate and Aaron doing it in IBC totes. I think I talked to you about it too, where you fill the IBC tote with draining media and then a lot of just loose organics, compost, things like that. And as they grow and you need to harvest them, the soil will be loose enough that you can just pull the plant right out, trim it up as you need, and then right back into the tote. End of the year, you can surround it. If you got cold weather, you can surround it with hay bales and put it to bed and keep it from freezing. And then if you're in places like Hunter, you can also insulate that, get shade cloth over it, whatever you need to have your little propagation system going. So if you're interested in talking more about that, I'm happy to talk about that too anytime. So just get a hold of me. Jim says he'll try again. I have some in some pots. You come into SRF this fall, Jim? Just curious. So the title of the show today was laying a good foundation. Talk a little bit about this weekend at the property, at the cabin site, and what we're getting done, and some decisions we made. So Corey, Friday, did I go up Friday? Do you remember? Oh yeah. Friday was Savannah Day. I have that on my list too. Sorry. Saturday, Corey and I went out early. It was going to get hot. We went out. We did some more clearing. I showed her the progress I was making up on the site. We kind of picked out locations for the metal shed and the soft shed. And we started clearing some more, and then we decided that we were going to change the locations for the metal shed and the soft shed, and we got those kind of set out and started clearing more and more and really getting down to through the briars, down through the grass, the thick grasses, and skimming it right down, getting deadfall out of the way. There's a lot of deadfall. We marked up a bunch of trees that we were going to take down, and then we had to get out. It was getting warm, had to get back for the dogs. So we came home and spent the rest of the evening together, kind of just spending time together because we've been busy and been distracted by a lot of things. So we kind of hung out for the rest of the evening, talked about the projects and what we had going on. And then decided it was going to be even warmer yesterday. So I was going to go out by myself so Corey could hang around here. She had some stuff to get done and then be available to keep the camper open, keep it a little cooler, avoid turning the air conditioning on for the dogs for as long as possible, and then be here when it needs to happen. So I went out yesterday, and really the goal was, because Corey's off today, she's got today off, so we're going to be heading out to the property and doing some work. And the goal was, because this metal shed that I have and need to get up to get some content made, it's suggested you have 2 to 4 people to put it up. And so I didn't really want to do it by myself when it's saying 2 to 4 people. Maybe if it was like 2 people would be really nice for putting this up. I was like, oh, I'll struggle through it by myself. When it's saying almost 4 people, I'm thinking that I'm probably going to want an extra set of hands. So I wanted to grab Corey while she had the day off. I didn't want to have to wait another week. And so I was going to head out and get that site prepped. The 10 by 12 area, a little bigger than that, but the footprint of the shed is 10 by 12. I was going to get it prepped and skim down to the ground. Good morning, John Palmer. Thanks for stopping in. Appreciate it. Happy to have you. And so it we planned on going out on Sunday or today and putting the shed up. And the directions say not to put it on the ground. It's meant to go on a platform. It's meant to go on a foundation of some sort. I looked at a similar one. Jamie's got a similar one up at Off Grid Ping there, and he built a deck for it, basically a platform out of subfloor and floor supports, and it looks really nice. I didn't know if I wanted to do that, but I started clearing the ground and it wasn't super level. I was looking at it and I'm like, nah, I don't know. Um, I don't know how well it would have went on the ground. And I want to do good content for it. I want to have a solid structure. I want to have I want to have I want it to be right. I want it to be right. And so I came home and I told Corey, I was like, I think we need to level this more. I think we need to possibly build a platform. I think we need to do something with making the base for this right. And so we talked about it. I said, hey, let me just price out real quick how much to build a platform like Jamie has. So basically, it would have been like 2x6 frame with a couple of cross supports, and then like 6 sheets of OSB or something. And so it was going to be a couple $100. I was like, I don't know if I really want to spend that much on a free shed just to put it up. I don't know. I don't think so. And then we sat and we brainstormed some more. We sat here and had something to eat, and we were talking, and we decided to why not make a foundation for it. Why don't we? Chris Dixon says, "Can you build it like a skid? If you want to move it, you can." If I could get equipment up there, I don't know if we'd be able to hand move it, and I think we'll be able to hand move it the way we're going to do it. But we decided to, instead of making a full platform, and our original intent with the floor, we were going to put down one of our camping rugs that we've used outside, and we're super happy with. Where we're going to put one of those underneath the shed as the floor to kind of keep weeds down, keep the mud reasonable, just have a floor in there without having to build anything. And so we came up with the idea to use cinder blocks around the perimeter, still use the rug inside as the floor, and pin it underneath the cinder blocks. So we started out thinking use the standard cinder blocks. I think they're 6-inch tall, 8-inch tall, 8 by 16 by 8. Lowe's in this area doesn't have the greatest selection of things. We ended up having to go with the 2-inch tall, 8 by 16 solid cinder blocks. But we discussed it after I got home, and we were like, we definitely want to put a foundation. We want it to last. We want to make the right decision here, seeing this is the first structure we're putting out there. And our whole intent with this property is doing it right, doing things properly, doing things the way they should instead of half-assing it and hopefully making it work. Now, I'm not saying we won't salvage things or do things a little different, but we want to make sure that we're thinking things through and doing them the right way or the best way we know how. So I was like, all right, I gotta go get all these bricks, basic cinder blocks, and we got to get them up to the site. I'm thinking, calculating through my head, like how much it's going to be to carry up the hill. By the way, if you want to see where our cabin site is and walk into it, I put a YouTube video up yesterday of the walk from the road to the cabin site. You can find the link in the video description. In the video description, in the audio description, you click on that, goes to YouTube video of the walk in. It's a nice walk. It's not too terribly far. It's not too very long. There is a pretty significant slope in there, and that's the one challenge. And I talked to a couple people yesterday, actually several people, that were all giving suggestions on how to manage the hill. I have a bunch of ideas. I have ideas on what to do with it if we have to. And that's kind of where I'm rolling at it. It's working so far. I do definitely have to do some adjustments at the bottom of the hill for the transition from the one path to the path that goes up the hill. That is a definite. It's probably be some sort of ramp or steps or something. But the hill is what it is. It's not too long. It is fairly steep, but I don't think it's unmanageable. If it becomes that way, we're like, yeah, this is just, it's not worth it. I do have several ideas, tow rope style, ski lift style, winch. There's a bunch of different things that we can do. So that is the one obstacle we're going to overcome. But right now, carrying stuff in is working okay. I've obviously moved all those sheds and things up there, and those were by myself, so I didn't even have a second person carrying those with me. So I think we're going to be all right, and I could definitely use the exercise, so we're going to roll with it. But I went down to Savannah. I picked up a bunch of the cinder blocks. We're going to, instead of build the shed today, we're going to go prep the site. We're going to pull sod. We're going to make basically a level platform and build a foundation around it. We're going to ring the outside with our small cinder blocks, and it's also going to serve as dual purpose of holding down the rug that's going to be the floor. And with using the shed roof for water catchment, we shouldn't have a whole lot of drainage issues, but we'll be able to build up and grade away any runoff that we see. The position that the shed is going to be in, I don't think it's going to be a water issue inside. If it is, we'll figure it out. If it is a mess inside, we can always go get more of the cinder blocks and make the whole Pickle P says 100% spend way more time on the site prep than you think. Remove all organic matter and get down to the real actual earth, then level it. The extra day will make you happier. Yeah, and that's kind of the plan. We looked at it and said, you know what, I can send a message to the shed company, say, hey, we're doing this right. We want it to be a good build. And we had to do some more site prep. And so that's what we're going to do. And we almost like the idea of getting the extra couple inches on the height of the shed, because now when we walk in, we'll step down to the bottom. Chris Dixon says you build a first flush system for the rain catchment. I'm not sure. It depends on which rain catchment you're talking about, because we're gonna have several. But yes, anything off a roof will likely have a first flush. I've been looking at them, DIYers and that. So, but yeah, it'll be good. I think it'll be a solid build when it's done. And we made that symbolic choice of, putting that foundation, doing it right, making sure this first structure, instead of just getting it up, because we really want to have something up there. we want to have a place to store materials. We want to have that first structure up. We want to have that progress. But we pump the brakes and we're doing it right. Yeah. And I got some extra time this week that I get to put towards the property. So I think the goal this week is to get that prepped, to get that site prepped, to get the site prepped to put up the soft side garage and get those rolling. So yeah, today we're gonna head out. We're going to work on that for most of the day and enjoy the time outside. It's supposed to get warm again today, so we're gonna take off probably after the show and be out there for probably a good half a day, I'm guessing. I also have a ton of video to get caught up on. The whole experience with Walter last week really sent everything and my schedule into a tailspin. So I need to get back on the horse with that and get back into a solid schedule. And hopefully this week will help me get caught up, and then moving back into that first week of June, be right on my normal schedule. So excited. Not necessarily excited to carry the 40 cinder blocks up the hill. That's going to be my job. Corey's going to be taking sod out of the build site while I'm running back up and down the hill and working out. And I told her, you know what? It'll be great conditioning. We have a ton of stuff to carry in. Probably literal tons of material in the end with how much weight we're going to bring up there. Never hurts to walk up and down the hill with a couple cinder blocks in your hands. Drop them off, go get more. Drop them off, go get more. When I get sick of carrying them up the hill today, I'll stack all of them out of the back of the truck. I'll stack them at the bottom of the hill. And then this week, as I come out to work on the property, I'll carry more up. I just carry more up. And it'll be what it is. Real Other Life says, man, I feel you, sore today. I was tired when I got home yesterday because I cut up a bunch of deadfall that was in the site, in the build site. We had Chris Dixon says that we need a donkey or two, and was wondering if you want a couple pictures, Corey. Corey says if it's an animal, yes, she wants pictures, and not an animal like oh boy, you're an animal. Like if it's a animal critter, not a human critter. Ruella says she's sore today. So yeah, I caught up a bunch of deadfall yesterday. Look, it was home. It got really windy out at the site, and I was going to drop some trees, and they were kind of. John Palmer, thanks, I appreciate it. He says Brian is an ass. You already have an ass. You don't need any more. Okay. And so I was going to drop some trees. There was also a bunch of big deadfall. Like I'm talking probably 24-inch diameter. So I have 20-inch bar, and it wasn't big enough to get through it on the ground. So these are some larger trees that had been laying there. They were slightly rotten. It wasn't really hard to cut them up, but I was cutting them up into like 2-foot chunks and rolling them out of the way, the bigger ends. And then the smaller ones, there were some that were probably 18 inches diameter. They were large trees, a lot of clearing. So I was pretty gassed by the end of the day. And I got home and then made the decision to go to Lowe's and proceed to load 40 cinder blocks onto a cart, which I could barely move once I got the 40 cinder blocks on it. Guessing they were probably 15 pounds a piece. Website says a minimum of 10 pounds. I'm guessing they were more 15, pushing 20. So loaded them on a cart, hauled that out to the truck, and then loaded them into the bed of the truck, and that's where they're at right now. And now they get to go up the hill. So I feel you, Rachel. I feel you on the sore. I'm getting to that point, and I used to be there where sore is, I don't want to say sore is normal, but sore doesn't hurt as much. Sore feels actually good. I'm getting better sleep. I'm tired at the end of the day, and I really kind of miss it. I'm not gonna lie. I miss the physical activity every day at work. It's been 2 years, going on to a year and a half or more. That I'm not working a physically intensive job, and even my last one wasn't as bad. I drove a lot, but there were situations where it was physically demanding. But jobs before that, for probably a good 6, 7, 8 years before that, I was really physically demanding, and it feels good to be getting back there. And this cabin's going to make me in the best shape of my life when I hit 50. So that makes me feel good. That makes me feel good. Rewilder Life says same, and Chris Dixon says sore and tired is a good pain. Yes, definitely good pain. I don't know if I'd call it good pain even, or pain even. So, what else is on my list here? Oh, this is why I was kind of interested that I forgot about going to Savannah on Friday. So I've noticed that since Walter is gone, around here the vibe has been a really chill. And we kind of talked, Corey and I talked about it a little bit. We're not sure if it's the other two dogs are a little depressed or confused, if they maybe were on edge when Walter was here. Maybe he put off an anxious vibe. He was definitely loud. It's a lot quieter around here, and noise is a stimulant, that can kind of put you on edge. But anyway, regardless of what it was, I've been a lot more chill, laid back. And it might be that I'm just emotionally numb from going through 5 days of grieving or whatever it was, but I feel like I've kind of gone down, ratcheted down a little bit. And I had been noticing this a little bit through the week, but it had also been spending time outside. I had also, like I said, had 5 days of grieving and might have been numb. But Friday I went to Savannah for laundry and groceries and that whole trip. Laundry was fine. It was a normal laundry day, nothing out of the ordinary. And then I went to Kroger. Kroger was interesting. It was getting later on Friday. I went a little later in the morning. And it was Memorial Day weekend, so everybody was rushing around doing their shopping. And then I had the normal elderly folks that usually do their shopping during the day that I shop with, that I don't really mind. They're all kind of pleasant. And so I did my shopping, no issue, and I get in line. And there was a pretty decent line. And I had on one of my SOE shirts. That's the majority of my shirts are SOE shirts now. They're super comfortable and they last, so why not? And I like the shit that they say. And it happened to be the one, the unfuckwithable one. Yeah, I'm sure you've seen it. It's the white and black, and it's kind of staggered lettering, and it's done that way on purpose. I mean, obviously. And so I'm standing there, and I turn around. You're in the aisle, you're going in the aisle, and I kind of keep a buffer so I can get around the cart and get to the front, unload the cart and whatnot. And so I'm standing there behind the cart, and I turn around, and there's this old lady behind me, probably in her 80s ish, I'm guessing 70s, 80s. And she's looking at me, and she smiles, and I smile back, and she, nothing, like, we didn't talk or anything. And she's looking at me, and she looks down at my shirt, and she's like, "That's obscene." What? She's like, "That's got cursing on it." Like, what? I looked down, and I was like, normally it would have sent me out of my gourd. I would have started freaking out. I would have been like, who decides what's curse words? Why do you tell me what I can have on? If you don't like it, don't, the whole, like, just leave me the fuck alone. It didn't strike me. It didn't get me wound up. I just looked down at my shirt and I said, man, I don't see any curse words on my shirt. What curse words do you see on my shirt? I don't see any. She kind of looked at me, disgusted that I was right and that she had read it that way. That's not what it actually says. I mean, the coloring kind of leads you to read it. I'm not saying that that's not the intention, but you let it affect you. And I didn't care. And I was happy that I didn't care. I was happy that I didn't react. I just calmly stated facts. And she looked at me and she wasn't happy. She wasn't happy. But I was like, I like this. I like this new not knee-jerk reaction. Chris Dixon says she realized she was in control of her own triggers. And I think that's the message to spread now. It's not to spread why they're right, why they're wrong, why things are the way they are, or why you think they're bad, or why you disagree, or why you agree. I think it's a great message to spread to just let people know that they control what affects them. They really do. We lost a long time ago. The sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can never hurt me. We really lost that along the way. Everybody's offended by everything. Everybody's triggered by everything that anybody says. It's just words. It's just like literally not even words. It's just letters on a shirt. It didn't hurt your feelings. It didn't steal any money from you. It left you alone. And you read it and you got upset by it. So, I don't know. It was an interesting observation for me to see myself not give a shit. Well, not react. Like, yeah. I look forward to more of that. So hopefully it's not the fact that I was just emotionally drained. And it continues on. So, yeah, that's kind of about it for today. I got to get wrapped up. We got to get out, get working before it gets too hot, and then get back. And like I said, edit some video, get that up. I'm starting to get emails from companies going, "Hey, you gonna make our video anytime soon?" So, duty calls. Life happens, but then you gotta pull up your knickers and get going with it, and get caught up for the stuff that you missed. So, I'm gonna rock on that today. Hopefully everybody has a great Memorial Day, and you get whatever you need out of the day, whether that's remembrance of somebody that's passed or whatever. Maybe it's just a barbecue. I don't know. That's up to you. That's all a personal choice, but it is a day off for a lot of people, and a bunch of people still got to work. So it is what it is. It is what it is, guys. Put yourself in a situation to be able to celebrate whatever you want, whenever you want. So other than that, comfrey sale, share the love, comfreyroots.com, comfreyroots.com. Coupon code share the love, get you 2 packages in one, so you can hand them out to your friends. Start that conversation about sustainable plants, medicinal plants, and all the different side hustles you could run with this silly little plant, and build your community. Because if somebody's down with that, you can pretty much guarantee they'll probably be down with some of the other stuff that you like. So anyway, start that conversation. I appreciate everyone listening. If you enjoyed the show, it's always free to hit that like, share, and subscribe to return value for value. Please consider joining one of the YouTube membership tiers or listening on any value for value platform like Podverse or Fountain.fm. Check out Sensei Scramblin' over on Wave Lake. I got that album uploaded for him, and it's playing over there on Value for Value Music. You can find it on Fountain and Wave Lake and any other value for value platform that supports music. You can also visit thelotsproject.com and comfreyroots.com. Share share the love. Guys, it's Monday. We're rolling in. Most of you are going to have a short week, a 4-day week, and you get to enjoy the rest of this long weekend. I hope you have an awesome day, and we will catch up with you tomorrow.